NERDSoul.
Woo! Lay ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, oh yeah, coming with another wonderful episode of NERDSoul Gaming. We are talking beat 'em ups, bruh. Like, we got Open Mind up in here. We got Keith from Blerd-ish up in here. And we even got, you know what I'm saying, the Popo coming around, you know what I'm saying, making sure we stay up on what we supposed to do and keep on giving it to you riggedy raw to your jaw. We also might have a special guest, but peep this. In the year 2022, we've had some good games. We've had some bad games, but in the beat 'em up genre, which I think is seeing a slight resurgence, I'm gonna have to give it to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Man, the TMNT game done came through. It's been fresh. It's been enjoyable. I have had a lot of fun, and I'm gonna talk about why. I'll mention why I'm still playing that. The reheat value on that is extremely high.
Of course, y'all know that Mike plays a lot of Streets of Rage 4. It was one of the games that got me back into, I ain't gonna say gaming. I was kind of getting back into it, but it was something that I was anticipating during the pandemic. Of course, I played it, loved it. You know, of course, I've had it since it came out. So every so often, a few channels always talk about beat 'em ups and what's the state of beat 'em ups, because as y'all know, this is actually a pretty old genre that's kind of right there in the beginning of video games, or back in the heyday when video gaming was becoming popular in the 80s. I mean, beat 'em up, arcade culture, they go hand in hand.
I gotta be honest with y'all, I only play 2 beat 'em up games, and that because I don't like them. It's just because of the lack of interest. It's the lack of wow that they give me. The 2 beat 'em up games I play is Turtles and Streets of Rage. And then I get bored with Streets of Rage because I only play the survival mode. Get on there, you know, see how far I can go to maybe level 36, 38. The highest I've got is level 40, and before it just overwhelms me and beat me up. Right.
A lot of y'all, if y'all as old as I am or older, it's on record that kind of the first beat 'em up out there, if you remember Kung Fu Master, Kung Fu, there's some variation of it. It's been redone by a couple of people, even some clones and copies, but you remember Kung Fu. Walk side to side, you one punch enemies, they drop off the screen. I know, it doesn't seem like it's a beat 'em up, but it is actually the first beat 'em up. However, what got coined as a beat 'em up was a favorite of mine growing up in the arcade culture, was Renegade. Now, I didn't know this for years because, you know, I didn't grow up on the East Coast or the West Coast of big cities. Hell, when I was growing up, the word anime and manga wasn't even in the lexicon yet, believe it or not. The first beat 'em up by the company of Technos, the creator of it, he actually coined the phrase. He coined the phrase beat 'em up, and is actually for the Kunio-kun universe. And I know some are like, who the hell is Kunio-kun? You ever heard of River City Ransom? Well, River City Ransom, another classic in his right, is the Western localized version of Kunio-kun. And remember this, because we're going to come back around to this. So, Renegade, even though it was different in its own right, it was its own classic. You know, it was stylized after the Warriors game, what they thought America wanted. So that's how they changed it. And then one thing led to another. The same creator of that created the smash hit and universe of Double Dragon. This genre that a lot of us love and probably forgot how much we love it, but I think it's a staple that's gonna stay, and it's starting to evolve. So every beat 'em up ain't gonna be your regular 2D scroller or your regular, Final Fight clone, or even your regular Streets of Rage clone. I can't lie, some of the clones are fire. So starting off, I'm gonna start off with stuff that's coming up that I think you're gonna like. One is called Bravery and Greed. It's like a hybrid roguelite. I know these phrases. Beat 'em up. It's fantasy. You're gonna get your bang for it. Beat 'em ups can have spawned various genres. Let's see, like hack and slash, brawlers. So you got the scroll and beat 'em up, which y'all know. Belt scroll action is kind of like the same thing that the Japanese created. You know, going left to right. You know, parallax scrolling, all that good stuff. Then you got the hack and slash. And honestly, that's where beat 'em ups had evolved at the time when they kind of died. They became the hack and slash actioneer game. So they never really went away. They just went away, you know, they evolved. Because, I mean, let's be honest. God of War, smash hit. Yes, it wasn't 2-player, it wasn't drop in, drop out. But that became a smash hit, and it's a subgenre of beat 'em ups.
I think beat 'em up games need to be a little bit more creative, put some more thought into it, and they should be free to play. The reason they should be free to play is because once you beat the game, you got to give a person a reason to want to keep playing it. And you're charging people $20 for a game that doesn't take but maybe an hour to beat, maybe 2 hours to beat. And then you got whole free games like Fortnite and all these Apex Legends, all these other games that you can go in there and play all you want, and you just pay for in-game content. But I guess the thing about, I do have to understand where the company is coming from. It's a beat 'em up game. They can't keep giving you content because it's just a beat 'em up game. So I guess they can. I don't know. I just know this. $20 is too much for a beat 'em up game. It's too much. $25 for a beat 'em up game, that's too much. $9.99, that's cool. $5.99, that's cool, right? It's just a beat 'em up game. We're not gonna just, no matter how much graphics and time you put into this game to make it, you know, appealing to us, it's only gonna take us 2 hours to beat it. Right? We can, maybe you give us multiple endings with the characters on the roster or something, but it's only gonna take us 2 hours to beat your game. So why do I have to give you so much of my money to beat your game? $5.99 is cool. If you don't want to give it to me for free, $5.99 is cool. $9.99 is pushing it, but I'll do that. But $20 is too much for a beat 'em up game, right? Just the prices alone going forward for all platforms: PC, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, whatever you game on. If it's a beat 'em up game, and it's maybe 6 characters on the roster, or 5 or 6 characters to choose from, you run through the game and you beat the game. Hey man, you're only gonna offer me so much content, and $20 is just not. It's just too much.
One that I picked up today, I didn't know it was out. I'm actually glad that I found out. Now this one I personally was waiting on in 2021 when I first saw the video of it. Midnight Fight Express. If you like John Wick, if you like a little gunplay with your fighting, if you like martial arts, if you like a dirty nightclub setting, and just an insane, sane, violent actioner, kind of think hardcore. Henry, think John Wick, think The Raid. That's what you're gonna get in Midnight Fight Express. Now it is one player, but when I say you throwing hands, you throwing hands. Fallen City Brawl. Remember that one. It is big, it's flashy, it is arcadey. It's like a Neo Geo game, but with more animation. You ain't gonna miss this one if you're anywhere near into beat 'em ups. And by the way, y'all, believe it or not, just a little break into the current state of beat 'em ups. Most beat 'em ups now are not AAA games. What does that mean? They're not really being made by the big studios. Even Streets of Rage 4, even though it is a Sega IP, they licensed it out to like .emu or WayForward, and they did the work for it. So you got smaller companies keeping this genre alive, even if it's licensed. But I say the bigger companies, it's mostly independent. These games are mostly independent games because, you know, most companies, they're busy making, you know, your Call of Duties or your other massive things, or, you know, Overwatch, stuff like that. Shooters are now kind of the big meat and potatoes of making money, or sports games or other stuff. Trying to think what else is out there. I guess, you know, you got your Halos, but a lot of people who still love retro gaming, love this genre, they're the ones that's kind of taking on this project. So taking on these things. So Fallen City Brawl, I promise you. Look, I was a kid. Look, I love Final Fight. I know Mike always like, Final Fight is okay, but Streets of Rage, it has won the fight. First back in the day, for me, it's just the large, ridiculous sprites. Of most of the boneheads beating the hell out of each other. You couldn't do any better than at a time Final Fight.
And another game that I'm still playing is Streets of Rage 4. Like, I'll be for real. That the update for the survival mode for the Mr. X Nightmare really it breathed like a whole new breath of life into that thing. That I ain't gonna front. The level of difficulty, fun, the multipliers that you can get on like your moves and stuff, it just gave this game a whole new angle, and I am so happy that we got it. Like, for real, I'm so happy that we got this game now because of how like just impressive that thing is. Not only from the first release, but that resurgence. I'm still playing that now. So those are the two games that like are really, really in my rotation as far as playing when it comes to beat 'em ups. Now, I know, what I'm saying, Keith, Open Mind, they got some other picks that they've been looking for. Like Keith, I know he's been looking forward to River City Girls 2.
Going forward, I would also like to see some cross play in these beat 'em ups. Stop with the exclusivity, okay? Gaming developers, if you're listening to this video, you come across this, please just implement crossplay. At this point, the exclusivity, I can't say the word. I'm sorry. Being exclusive to just one platform with your game is alienating the rest of us. We want to play your game, but we don't want to buy a whole console to play your game. If I own a console, if it's a Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, whatever I own, or if it's a phone, Android, right? Droid is mobile gaming is starting to come into mobile gaming is starting to become its own platform. Where as long as the mobile device can hold the graphics, they should be able to play too. Make your game cross-platform. What is wrong with y'all? It's almost 2023. We're about to be in the year 2023 shortly, and we still isolating games to one platform. Why are we doing that as gaming developers, as a society? Why are only certain games cross-play and then the rest of us is just isolated, and we have to look at clips online and hope and wish we could play, or we have to actually go spend $500 to purchase the system that your game is exclusively on to play your game that's also $70. So if we do the math here, if there's a game that's exclusively for Xbox, but I have a PlayStation, I have to go spend $500 just to get the Xbox, right? And they're not always in stock. And then I have to go buy, spend $69.99 on the game because it's just Xbox. Or vice versa. If I have an Xbox and the game that I want to play is exclusively on PlayStation, I have to go spend $3.99 on a PlayStation 4. PlayStation 5 is $5.99. I had to go spend $600 just to spend $70 just to play your game. That is the barrier of entry. That is the isolation. That is the being exclusive. Just give us crossplay. Make a version of your game for every system, whether it's a beat 'em up game, a shooting game, a fighting game, an RPG. If it's a game that connects you to matchmaking, right? You can go online and co-op, or you can go online and go against each other. That's considered matchmaking. A lot of beat 'em ups are online co-op. You can go online on beat 'em up games and co-op with other human beings on another system across the world.
Probably the biggest one that I am waiting for, that I know I'm getting on day one, As much as I was looking forward to Midnight Fight Express, River City Girls too. Remember I said keep in mind about Double Dragon and River City Ransom and Technos. Well, Technos is now owned by Arc Systems. You know what Arc Systems can do. They've been killing it in their fighting games. They've been killing it with whatever they touch, the stuff they bought. River City Girls. At first, I didn't know what to think of it. Well, I was like, when I first saw it, I don't know what this. I never even played River City Ransom growing up. I actually played Scott Pilgrim before even touching River City Ransom, just because I knew Scott Pilgrim. I read the books, and it was like, yeah, that pretty much apes from it. I love Scott Pilgrim. I said, okay. My friend convinced me. He's like, hey man, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you like Scott Pilgrim, you're going to love River City Girls. River City Girls 2, I am getting on day 1. It would be great if the bigger companies would take it, but you know what? I don't care. As long as somebody's taking up the whole mantle, keep this genre going. This is one of my favorite genres of all time in gaming. It's beat 'em ups is just a pick 'em up and play, have fun. You don't need no super engrossing story. You don't need to know what's going on. You just know that you walk in the streets, you walk in a factory or lab, and you're beating up somebody. Or you're taking a sword and your fist, using some weapons, some melee weapons, other stuff, and you're beating somebody. At the end of the day, somebody from left to right is walking left to right and attacking the person in front of them.
Okay, well, if you're going to connect us online to where we can co-op play, connect us online so that we can cross play. Because it's just a flip of a switch at the end of the day. And I'm not super expert at it, but those are people who work behind those things know that outside of the payment that you have to, the money that you have to spend to keep the server up, it's just a flick of a switch to get crossplay on the game. It's not the flick of a switch. It's more so about the amount of money that it's going to cost, which is understandable. I understand that it's a costly endeavor. You got to pay a monthly fee or annual fee to keep that server going. I get it, but we need that. Your game will have more people playing it at once if you crossplay. This is just basic math. This isn't a rant, or it's a rant, but it's also a rant with facts. You can look at the metrics. If you cross-play your game, you put a game out and you cross-play it, right? Look at the amount of people accumulative that will be playing your game. You're going to have people playing it on PlayStation, people playing it on Xbox, Steam, and any other system you put your game on. It's cross-play, so everybody can log in and cross-connect with each other. Look at those metrics then. Because don't make the consoles compete as far as metrics, because that's going to hurt you. You want everybody to play your game because that's going to help you. If there's a chunk of PlayStation people playing it, a chunk of Xbox people playing it, a chunk of Steam people playing it, a chunk of Nintendo people playing it, now all those chunks you put together, you have an accumulative chunk of people playing your game. That is basic math. That is revenue to you. You need that revenue stream. You shoot yourself in the foot when you make your game exclusive to one console.
I guess in reference to things that we're looking for, one thing that I think that we really need to get from Streets of Rage 4 and from Turtles is the ease of adding players and the ability to cross play. That's one thing that I really I think that's one thing that I really want is crossplay and the ease of crossplay. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to press a button and invite people. I want to be able to invite any and all of my friends to a game with maybe 2 or 3 button presses.
Other things I want from beat 'em ups. If you're not going to be able to do online, because I know online play sometimes make the game more expensive, makes the game more hard to manage, but you need to have drop in and drop out. If it's a 2-player game, somebody should be able to jump in with a controller and do it, and should be able to just have fun, just like it's the arcade. But I do think you should try to aim for online co-op play. Everything else is online. I think it's worth doing. I think it's, especially if it's a property that you banking on people might like. But I get it. These are indie games for the most part. They're not necessarily the major titles anymore. Even Ninja Turtles, it's kind of an indie game. But Dotemu, again, one of those companies that go all the way out. A back attack. You should always have a back attack. Again, one of the games I played, The Takeover, that was one of its flaws. So you need a block function, back attack, good online play. If you can do it, don't half-a it. If you just can't, I get it. But there's no excuse. There's no drop in and drop out play physically in person. That's nutty. And they should always be multiplayer if the game is built for that. So if you can have more than one person, I should be able to pick a controller and play it. Back attack, just make the game playable. Make the game fun. We don't need like a massive story for beat 'em ups.
I mean, when you look at like Turtles, the ability to play with like 4 or 5 people at the same time, that's just fun. Like, it's bringing the fun back to video games. I think in a lot of cases, you know, we've been siloed in our different respective systems. Like, you know, if you got an Xbox, you can only play with Xbox people. Or you got a PC, you can only play with PC people. Or you got a PlayStation, you can only play. But with the advent of cross-play, especially getting better and being requested more, it can not only add a lot of fun, but also a lot of life to your game. Because say you don't have a huge player base in PlayStation, but you know, if you take that and add that player base from the PC side as well, and on, and I know we ain't getting nothing from Nintendo, but still, like, it would be great to have that in the beat 'em up space because of like just the level of mayhem that you can have on screen. Now, of course, I know with Turtles you can have, I think, 5 people playing at once, 4 or 5, something like that. Now, maybe that's too much. I don't know. Maybe 5 people at once or 4 people at once or whatever is too much, especially once you start adding in all the you know, the little baddies you got to beat up.
Make it crossplay. That's what I want to see in beat 'em ups. I want beat 'em ups to crossplay us so that we all can make content together. There are certain games that I sit up and watch people play that I wish I could play, but I don't have a PC. Or I have a PC, but I don't have my PC's not, it's not capable of running a game. So I say I don't have a PC. That's a lie. I have 2 laptops, but those laptops are not, the RAM speed in those laptops are not fast enough. They move like dial up even right now because it's just I just haven't upgraded the RAM cards. You need RAM cards. You need RAM and speed to play games. You need at least 20 gigabytes of RAM to get a good game running without no lag. You know, your system's using 5 gigabytes of that 20 gigabytes of RAM, and then you got 15 left to play with. The game itself is probably using 10 gigabytes of RAM. You know, you kind of need some RAM in your PC if you really want to play a game smoothly. You need at least 20 gigabytes of RAM. And I don't have 20 gigabytes of RAM. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm gonna just play the PlayStation or Xbox. So, beat 'em ups. Give us crossplay. Give us crossplay and give us DLC. Why not? Make the game free to play and then give us DLC that we can purchase. Charge us $5 for the new character. You every month or so you give us a new character to run through the game with and beat the game with, right? Give us a little versus mode where we can do our little wacky stuff versus each other online, but it's not really like a super ranked situation. It's just something to do other than play the story mode, right? Give us different modes. You know, modes in beat 'em ups are important because you can only beat the game so much before you get bored with it. You're gonna get bored running through a beat 'em up game watching the same ending over again. So give us different modes and different activities to do after we've completed the story mode of your beat 'em up. right? And that's just my take. That is what I want to see from beat 'em ups going forward. I want to see more content, more modes. I want DLC characters, and I want crossplay, inevitably. That is the most important thing. Cross-play us so that we all can sit down and enjoy a lot of these games, not even for competition reasons. Like, I just, another reason why I want crossplay, and this is the last thing I'll say before I pass the mic on to the rest of the group. I want crossplay because as a PlayStation person, the matchmaking servers that I deal with on all games, even shooting games, even games that are not fighting games, because y'all know I love my fighting games, even the shooting games that I play, I find myself being matched to the same human being every time I log into the matchmaking. There's something about being on PlayStation that once the server attaches you to a certain person or a certain group of people, it will keep giving you it will keep looping you back to those same humans. And I don't understand what that's about, but it doesn't matter what game I'm playing. I can be playing any game. Once I see a PlayStation account, I know I'm going to see that account again in less than 5 minutes or less than 10 minutes if I go back into the server.
Now, as far as another thing that I really want in beat 'em up space is I'm gonna roll over to .emu again. All right, so .emu hit us with that Streets of Rage 4, and we were like, word up. We were happy. We were beating up people and cleaning up the streets again. Then they hit us with them turtles. All right, hit us with them turtles, and then once again, we was happy. You know what I'm saying? The turtles. We was able to clean up the streets of New York. You know what I'm saying? Get all the crankiness up out of our city. I want to go to .emu again for another classic beat 'em up game. This time, I think, look, we've trusted them with Streets of Rage. We've trusted them with Turtles, and they've came through on both of them. I think it's time for .emu to do X-Men, man. For real. The X-Men beat 'em up. I think it's time. Give them X-Men. Let them kill it. Let them take it to another level. And then I'm happy. Actually, after that, if .emu does X-Men, they ain't got to make another game for me. You know what I'm saying? I'd be cool. I'd be like, yo, these guys are legendary status. I ain't got to look. They ain't got to impress me no more. You know what I'm saying? Because they killed it on Streets of Rage 4. They killed it on Turtles. If they get one more game, that's a trifecta right there. Look, Marvel, DC. I mean, not DC. Marvel, Disney. Holla at .emu. You know what I'm saying? Make this work. You know what I'm saying? Give them the keys so that they can go in and put this game together, and both of y'all can go onto legendary status in the gaming. Because, you know what I'm saying, Marvel, you've been slipping on the games a little bit. I mean, I know y'all had them Lego games. They was cute, but we need that beat 'em up. We need that beat 'em up on the old school level. You know what I'm saying? We need that.
It was a coin flip between what's number one, number two. Number two, I'm gonna have to go Revenge of Shredder, and this is why. Beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, fun. You can play up to 6 people. We all love Ninja Turtles pretty much, unless you just don't have a soul or something. I'm joking with you, but I don't know. Most people love it. Great. They give you, I think, enough stages. I do think each stage was a little too short, so I think they could have given you more stages, but the music of it was fun. Shout out to Mega Ran being involved in it. You can't go wrong with it. But I do think it needs some DLC. I do think it needs another mode, like endless mode. I want them to put new missions in. I know that's not always easy because the way they animate it, it's animated to the tilt. It emulates everything that was right about the Ninja Turtles game, but better. It surpassed all the arcade games, all the old ones.
My whole theme for my portion of this documentary is the isolation. I feel like I'm isolated in a little bubble, and I keep seeing the same people in that bubble. No matter what game I'm playing, it doesn't matter the game, but when I turn said game on, the people who are playing that said game, I don't get to see anybody else but those people. And that's kind of frustrating. That's kind of demotivating. It makes me not want to play. Like once I play you a few times, it's exciting, but I get bored with people. I get bored with seeing the same individual on the game over and over again. I've already beat this guy. I've already fought this guy, or I've lost to this guy already. Doesn't matter. At what point does the game I'm playing give me a different human being to fight against? And it's not so much as that there's not other people playing. It's about the server area that you're in. The servers bubble you guys together. This is why you're seeing the same names, because of the servers that you log into. And it's not one server, it's multiple servers. And once they put you into that bubble, you're in that bubble with whoever's in that bubble with you. The server bubble, so I'm going to call it. Some stuff I just made up on the spot. But it's my best way to explain why we keep seeing the same people over and over. Crossplay would fix that.
So last thing I think I'll say, beyond crossplay and beyond getting a X-Men beat 'em up from .emu, the next thing that I would like to see is a possible Streets of Rage 5. Now, I mean, Streets of Rage 4 has been out for a while. We've had a lot of praise for it, the longevity in it, and it's still fun to play. The amount of characters and the diversity in their power sets and their move sets is awesome. I think maybe in a year or two, it's time for them to run it back for Streets of Rage 5. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for Streets of Rage 5 for real. I think that would be unique.
Streets of Rage 4 is what a beat 'em up should be. If you're going to do the old 2D, you're on the street, you eat street meat, the big steaming turkey. You can play with multiple people. You got all the moves. You got combos. You can play it simple. You can play it smart. You can play it heady. You can play it defensive. They put in so many different options, and it has all the characters from the universe up to date. The official ones. Now, the unofficial releases, that's something else. Y'all can go research that. But I still say Streets of Rage 4 is the gold mark of beat 'em ups. And now it's starting to go on sale a lot. You can get it at half price sometimes. You can get it off to 10 to up to 50%. Maybe sometimes a little bit more. In fact, expect this game, if you have not bought it, to keep going back on sale, hopefully. Treat yourself to it, man. Honestly, if you just want to go take your frustration out, kick somebody in the head, you can't beat wrong with taking Axel, taking Adam and Blaze and Skate and Max and smashing somebody's head in the ground for fun. I'm glad that indie companies have never gave up, and they keep bringing it back. So that's my time. I'm Keith Cooper of Blerd-ish Podcast. That's www.blerd-ish.com. That's www.blerd-ish.com. Check us out. We interview people, we do reviews, we collab with good friends like our homie NERDSoul right here. We on Twitch, started Twitch, and you can find me at BLERD_ISH on Twitch. Subscribe, join, chat. You see me playing, come in, say hello. So man, again, thank y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, audio, whatever discussion. Hopefully you agree with it. Leave some comments. And I hope y'all do check out the games, man. I really, really do. I think you're going to find something that I mentioned that you're going to enjoy.
And then seeing the indie space grow for these beat 'em ups, I'm actually pretty cool with too. I'm pretty cool with seeing some of these. I know some of these kind of fall into the Metroidvania kind of aspect, but I mean, you do have stuff like like Dead Cells or Hollow Knight or something like that. It's not exactly the same, but I mean, you're still kind of getting your beat 'em up on, sort of. But yeah, I'd love to see the people from Emu running X-Men beat 'em up, running Streets Rage 5. I'd like to see the people from Dead Cells take a run at a beat 'em up. I think that's what I'd like to see kind of in the future. I mean, who knows what's going to happen at PAX or Gamescom or whatever, or something like that next year. Who knows what we'll be, blessed with. But that's what I'm looking into. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking into for the foreseeable future. So until your next achievement, this is NERDSoul saying peace.
Peace.
Deuces.